So today we're going to talk about a new system called Cheetah V3 Pro, and it's built on a pretty wild idea. What if you could build really complex software, not with thousands of lines of code, but with just a single sentence? Let's dive in and see how that's even possible. I mean, really think about that. What if you could just describe a complex app, one with payment systems, user accounts, the whole shebang, and just have it built for you? A complete, ready-to-go version in just a few minutes. Well, that's the crazy promise behind Cheetah.
To really get what makes Cheetah so different, you gotta look at the old way versus the new way. Traditionally, it's this slow, painful back and forth. You tell an AI what to do, it spits out some code, you find the mistakes, you tell it to fix them, and you just repeat that over and over. That whole cycle can take up to an hour, and it's surprisingly expensive, costing over 2,000 tokens. And you can just think of tokens as the money you pay the AI. Cheetah just completely flips that script. You give it one little command, and in like 3 to 5 minutes, it builds the entire thing for a tiny, tiny fraction of the cost. This is really a fundamental shift in how we think about this stuff. Instead of giving a programmer or an AI this long, detailed list of step-by-step instructions, you just give Cheetah a mission. You give it a high-level goal, and it figures out all the boring details itself. The secret sauce here is something they call a marathon system. Honestly, the best way to picture it is like a fully automated car factory. You just hit the start button and it handles everything. The design, the building, the testing, all the quality checks, with zero human help until a complete, finished product rolls out at the other end. Okay, so what's actually inside this automated software factory? Let's take a look at the 3 main building blocks that make this whole marathon system work. First up, we've got the Cheetah Shorthand Language, or CSL. The easiest way to get this is to think about texting. Instead of typing out laughing out loud, you just type LOL. CSL is exactly that, but for describing incredibly complex pieces of software. And this right here shows you just how powerful that is. On the left, you've got a standard setup file, which takes a whopping 850 tokens of code to describe what you want. The Cheetah version on the right, it does the exact same thing in just 8 tokens. It's this compression that lets Cheetah work so unbelievably fast and cheap. Next, Cheetah uses what are called pre-build templates. Now, if normal coding is like building a spaceship with individual tiny little Lego bricks, Cheetah basically gives you 34 professional Lego kits. So instead of building brick by brick, you're grabbing a whole pre-made engine, a pre-made cockpit, and pre-made wings and just snapping them all together. And finally, you have the Draymond agent. This is the coach of the team. It's an AI coordinator that's basically watching over the entire process. It's there to prevent mistakes, make sure everything is running smoothly, and it pretty much orchestrates the whole show from beginning to end. All right, so we've seen all the individual parts. Now let's put it all together and actually watch it build a real application. This is where we see a single line of text turn into real working software. And this is it. This is the entire instruction. Now, I know it looks like gibberish, but each little piece is a super powerful command. Hashtag REST API sets up the basic app structure. Hashtag OAuth adds secure user logins. Hashtag Stripe puts in a payment system. And the rest of it just tells it to add some performance features and make sure the final code quality score is at least an 85 out of 100. All of that packed into one single line. The second you run that command, the marathon just kicks off. It moves through these 6 phases all on its own. And what's really cool, and what you can't really see here, is that a lot of these tasks, like the design, the code generation, and the testing, are all happening in parallel at the same time. And that's a huge reason why it's so incredibly fast. And just like that, it's done. A full application that would normally take a developer days, maybe even weeks to put together, is finished in under 4.5 minutes. That is just wild. And look at what you get. This isn't just some messy folder full of random code. It's a professional, perfectly organized project. It's got your source code, a full set of tests, all the documentation, and even the files you need to deploy it. It is literally ready for production the second it's done. So what does this all add up to? Well, when you start looking at the actual numbers for speed, for cost, and for quality, the impact is absolutely staggering. I mean, just look at the time difference here. We are talking about going from a process that takes an hour on a good day down to something that takes less than 5 minutes. That's a 10 to 20 times speed improvement. But the token usage is maybe even more dramatic. Instead of sending thousands of tokens back and forth with an AI, Cheetah gets the job done with just a handful. This isn't just a little bit better. It's a completely different universe of efficiency. So when you combine those massive savings in both time and tokens, you get this number, a 99% reduction in the effort required. It basically makes the cost and time of building the foundation of a new application just disappear. And what's so important to remember is that all this speed doesn't come at the cost of quality. It's actually the opposite. Instead of getting that inconsistent, often buggy code that a generic AI might give you, you get a complete, documented, production-ready application every single time. So it really leaves us with this one big thought. When all that foundational, repetitive, and frankly boring work of coding is totally automated and just takes a few minutes, it frees us up. It frees up all that human creativity to focus on much, much bigger problems. So, if code can build itself, what new, incredible things are we going to decide to build next?